All right, Garrett Blevins here with an overview of how to use the AI system. So let's hop right into this. You've already completed step one, but I just want to overview it again in case you're seeing this video and somehow missed this. So step one should already be completed. Step one consists of filling out the initial questionnaire and setting up a subscription with PayPal. Most of you viewing this have already done that. If you haven't, go back to blessedcoaching.com in the AI tab and make sure you have done both of those, both filling out the questionnaire and setting up the subscription. And also, very importantly, make sure that when you write the email of the PayPal account, it is the actual email. Many people, including myself, set up our PayPals a long time ago with emails we don't use anymore. However, the system can't know you're the person who's paid if the email isn't the same. So make sure you got the right PayPal email account or set up a new PayPal with your current email. Step two, you're doing that right now. Step two starts by watching this whole video carefully. The video will explain how to use the program as well as what not to do with it. The most important thing is a couple of things. Whatever you do, do not change the name of the program you receive. The AI identifies these programs by your name, so send it back with the same name it was sent to you as. We may have to use ID numbers as well. I don't know if I'm going to have people with the same name sign up or how many people are going to use this. If that's the case, we'll deal with it later. That'll be a super easy fix, but for right now, let's keep it as simple as possible. Also, and just as important, do not add any sheets to the Excel file that you get. It's going to come with a number of tabs. Don't add any extra tabs in that sheet. If you want to track or make a copy for yourself with extra tabs, fine. But when you send it back, make sure it only has the tabs that were sent to you initially, because that can cause some issues with the AI. All right, so those are some of the restrictive things. Let's get into step three. Lift some weights already. That's what you're here to do. You're here to get stronger, not to get bogged down in this system. If you have any problems, you can always email me. Just know that. Anyways, step three is to start the program on the start date. That's going to be on the Monday that is closest to when you filed the questionnaire. It plans to start on Mondays because basically everybody runs their week by Mondays. You will perform the workouts, and more on that in a minute. I'm going to actually go over the Excel log and show it to you so you're familiar with what you're looking at after this overview. But you will perform the workouts and send back that log when you're near the end of the fourth week of your program. You're going to have 4-week blocks for all of these tabs. And when you get near to the fourth week, at the end of it, you need to send the log back to me so I can let the system look at it and generate your next block of training. In addition to just looking at your logs, you're also going to submit a end-of-block questionnaire. This end-of-block questionnaire gives some additional info that can allow the system to alter and change more than just what it sees in your logs. So you got those two pieces of information that you're going to send at the end of every block that you complete: the questionnaire and the logs itself. Don't worry if you still have a workout or two on that fourth week when you send your logs back in. It'll be fine. All right. A note about meets and block adjustments. So you know, most meets and tests are expected to be Friday through Sunday. If your meet is earlier in the week, maybe you're going to nationals and you're competing on a Tuesday or something like that, you will simply have to take your last heavy workout that's going to be a week or the week before that test week and just do it a day or two sooner than usual. That's the simplest way to do it without having all the days swap around and things get really confusing with your training. You're just going to bump it forward a couple of days. I can help with that. You can email me if you have questions again, but that's just a simple way of dealing with that problem. Also, if you get sick or injured at any point and take the time off that you need to get healthy enough to work out again, the system isn't going to know within your block if you just broke your thumb. So again, use your brain as your training. If things feel too heavy, maybe use 15 pounds, 20 pounds less. If things feel really easy and you're just going like gangbusters and just killing it, maybe you up the weights a little bit. But don't all of a sudden decide to test your 1-rep max, and don't all of a sudden skip 3 days. Try to do as much as you can as close to the program as written. But as with any program, you're going to need to adjust and use your brain. That's especially true of percentage-based programs. That's part of the advice Shako has given me as I'm working with him is be smart. You know yourself, and there's no way that a coach who's writing a program for you can know and be there the same way as if they're there in person with you. But you're there, so use your head. It's given to you for a reason. So, once you send back your logs and that end-of-block questionnaire, the AI will create and email you back your log, and the new sheet is going to be another tab. Make sure you don't run the same tab over and over again. I've had some people do that. It's going to tell you cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3. Just always use the cycle number that's the highest. It should be obvious. You'll see it. We'll get there when I show it to you. But make sure you just aren't running the same thing over and over again. It will be different training unless something really, you've changed your meet date or something else. And even then, it should still be different. It would be very hard to get 2 blocks that looked identical, even with the same person, because it takes into consideration so many variables. Anyways, this block that you're going to be sent is going to be created just like it would be if I was doing it manually. I have programmed my coaching style and my brain and my way of decision making into this AI. However, I may work with some other coaches and have some variety available for you in the future. So just know that's in the works. It just takes time to learn every possible situation and every possible scenario and then have a coach answer what those might be. You have to be prepared. Anyways, that new workout is going to be sent back to you, and now it's easy. You're just going to do what you did in step 3. You're going to run the block, and then you take the same end of block questionnaire. The questionnaire will adjust based on how you start answering questions in it. So there's only 2 types of questionnaires. There's the initial that you take once at the very beginning, and you never take that questionnaire again. And then every block after that, you take an end of block questionnaire. There's going to be an email sent to you. There's going to be a link to that end of block questionnaire in that email, so you're not going to have to go find it. It's all going to be there in the email that's sent to you that you can respond back to. The AI is going to take care of everything else. One last point is that your feedback is crucial. One of the coolest things about being both a coach and a software developer is I can give you can give your feedback to me on what you'd like the system to do, and if it's something that lots of people can use, I will develop it. That allows you to be part of the expansion and the movement of this product. You can actually drive that by letting me know what you would like to see. If there's a cool feature that you're like, man, in a perfect world, the program would do this, let me know, and I'll see what I can do. Basically, anything's possible given enough time and enough lines of code. Also, just so you all know, some of the things that I'm planning to increase, which you'll have access to as clients, is some RPE-based training. There's a little bit of RPE in the assistance work of this program, but it's primarily percentage-based. A little bit closer to the Russian style, but I would like to make a fully Russian style powerlifting program as well. I'm looking into making a power building program. That may be the soonest edition, and a bodybuilding off season. And again, if you have any things that you would like to see, let me know and I'll see what I can do. I've already had one person request geared lifting, so that might be an interesting thing as well. In any case, let me know. Don't feel like this is only AI and because of that you can't communicate with me. I'm still here to help you and work through this system. It is a new system, so we may run into some issues. I'm here for you if you need any help. All right, so let's go to Joe Test Case. Here is the email that Joe Test Case gets. Your email for the initial cycle will look very similar to this. Don't delete these emails. Keep these because in case you mess up the program or it gets weird or Excel does something strange, you can always download a fresh version right here from this email. So don't delete the emails. So you'll get some text here. The program is going to spit this out. It's going to talk to you about your cycle based on what it decided to do on your feedback. It's going to give you some information. It will tell you your cycle number. It will tell you your block name so you know where to start. It'll tell you oftentimes, there it is, the start date. So, and this video right here, it will not be Arnold here with the best powerlifting program ever. It will be, in fact, wow, inception moment, the video you're watching right now. So anyways, what you're going to do is when you come in here, you're going to download your file. You'll see it open here. We'll wait for Excel to open. There we go. All right. So this is going to be what your cycle looks like. You can ignore that. That's the loading page of how I kind of look at some of the system stuff. So when you get it, you're going to get this page. First thing you need to do, enable editing. This is something that Excel does to protect you from dangerous programs. It always opens downloaded attachments in the locked or safe mode. So you have to enable editing before you can type. So make sure to go up to this box and just click enable editing. And then it lets you edit. That's all you have to do. Now you'll see that this is a macro cycle overview page. This is going to change and adjust, I am sure, over time as more features are added. Right now it's going to be showing you the number of lifts for squat, bench, and deadlift per week. So you can kind of see here that the weeks will line up with the volume below. This is accessory volume here, or number of lifts, I should say, not volume. You're also going to see what phase you're in. It's going to tell you if you're in powerlifting or a peaking phase. Eventually, that could maybe be power building or bodybuilding or who knows what this could be. But right now, it's going to say most likely powerlifting or peaking. It will tell you your objective. It'll give you a recommendation for nutrition. There's probably going to be some advancement there coming up very soon. And it's going to give you some fatigue levels. The first fatigue level refers to your squat, the second to your bench, the third to your deadlift movements. And that is going to adjust in real time when we go into cycle 1. The next is your frequency. Here is the frequency here is going to be 3 times a week for squatting, 5 times a week benching, 3 times a week deadlifting, and 4 accessory movements. Now, that doesn't mean that it's a 5-day-a-week program or anything. You may have double days where you do squat, bench, bench, or bench, squat, bench. It just depends, and that's why the frequency may not always be the same. However, frequency will adjust, as will volume and number of lifts per cycle, based on your feedback in this cycle here. So let's just hop in and take a look at that. So you can see your meet date is right here. You can see your squat, bench, and deadlift max, as well as the type of unit, pounds or kilograms, that you're using. The next thing I want to point out is this pre-workout fatigue level. This is the way in which I've chosen to track fatigue. There's tons of ways to track fatigue. You could track it after a workout. You could track it on every day of the week. You could take HRV. You could do all sorts of different things. But for me, I think this is the easiest way, and it collects the data that I use and I think is most helpful. So you're going to have on every day that you work out. Notice week 12 is right here, week 11 is here, 10 is here, and if we scroll over, weeks 9 is there. It's always going to orient itself by how many weeks out you are from the test, because that helps you know where you're at. You can see here is day 1, here's day 2, and so on. And this is a 4-day cycle, as you can see. Now, you're going to see squat, bench, and deadlift. And this is in this pre-workout fatigue level. You're going to fill this out pre-workout, before you work out. And you are going to dial in what number you have based on this chart. So you're going to put 1 to 2 if you feel no or low fatigue and soreness, and you're fresh and excited to do this movement or this workout, this movement. So if you're excited to squat and you feel fresh and amazing, you're going to put a 1 in there. Now let's see if we have a good example here. Here we go. So you can see here that's going to make sense for this day. You've got a squat, a deadlift, and a bench press. So you can easily answer and get all those in. However, even on days where you're not maybe deadlifting, like right here, there's no deadlift, I still want you to fill out your deadlift fatigue. Even though you're not doing it, imagine that you did have to deadlift that day and let me know how you're feeling. Maybe you feel like it's just horrible. Sorry, pull that down there. Maybe you feel horrible and you're just like super high extreme fatigue from this sumo stiff leg deadlift the day before. Now, even though you don't have any deadlifting on this day, I want to know how fatigued you were. And you're going to do that for all the movements. Normally, you're going to be probably around, I would say, between a 3 and an 8 for most of the time. If you're ever getting a lot of 10s or a lot of 1s, the program is definitely going to adjust you one way or the other. But as a rule of thumb, just so you know going through, I would like to see at least 1 day per week where you're in this 1 to 2 range for at least for each of the exercises 1 day per week. There are certain times where I wouldn't want that, where I'm pushing you and we're overreaching a little bit, and the system will understand that. But for you, in general, each week, you should have at least 1 day where you're putting in a 1 or a 2 on at least some of these. And probably that day is going to be day 1. I would normally do a 4-day program like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and then I would have Saturday and Sunday off. So I would have my best fatigue scores here. These scores are not going to be the same each day. Just be as honest as you can and let me know about how excited you are and how fatigued and sore you're feeling. That's going to be the best way for the system and for me, as the creator of the system, to know what to do with your next block and how to organize the volume in that. All right, so with that out of the way, let's dial in. If we're starting day number 1, we're probably feeling fresh on all of these lifts. And then you go through, you look at the exercise, it's sumo deadlift. You're doing 10 sets of 2 at 72.5%. Here is the load that you're going to be using. And then you do that. And then you go to front squat, you go to wide grip bench, and then you go to stiff leg deadlift. And that's it. You're just going to do that through week to week. When you get probably, I would say once you're done with day 2, if your subscription has pinged for the next month, go ahead and send in your logs then. Even if you have a couple of days where you haven't finished this out yet, that's okay. You don't need to do that. And so, you can see these little plus marks right here. You can open those up and you can write some notes in here for stuff for yourself. This is totally fine if you want to adjust things in there. You can write as much as you want in there. One thing I don't want you to do, though, is I don't really want you to go below and write anything below this row here on the macro cycle overview. This is row 50, and below this, it's not secret. You can see here they got these green boxes. It's because there's formulas there. There's information here that controls these graphs. It's not secret. You're not going to be able to reverse engineer the program. There's not cool stuff going on down there. But if you start adjusting it, it can mess up what you can see up here. So I made this row here, row 50, kind of big. Just don't edit anything below this line. Just leave it alone. So I've hidden it so it doesn't look nasty. It's just got white font with a white background. So in general, don't just start deleting or adding stuff. Don't add any tabs. Don't go like, hold on. There we go. Don't write in here my special tab and add more tabs to the book. That will mess things up because the system is looking to see where's your cycle number. And if you've got a bunch of stuff hiding that in there, it's going to be harder for the system to know, and it could cause issues. In general, you're always going to want it to be macro cycle overview, cycle 1, and then the next sheet when you get your second week or your second block should just be cycle 2 and cycle 3 and so on. Just don't add any other stuff in here. If you do want to do some weird stuff or really mess with these logs or do some things, go up to File and hit Save As and save it as a different name in another document in another location. That way you won't mess with this original log. Now, let's say, for example, you accidentally close this log or delete it somehow. Remember, you can always go back to the original email and download a fresh copy and work from that. But realize that if you download more than one copy of this, you may get this little number that shows up. Since I've downloaded Joe Test Case once already, the next time I downloaded it, since it wasn't deleted and it still existed, is Joe Test Case number 1. If that's the case, remember, you have to send the log back with the same name that you got it as. So make sure you send the log back with the same name. All you would do there is File, Save As, and you would make it the same name that it was before. That's it. Those are all the nitpicky restrictions. I know there's a few of them. Refer back to this video at any time. If you run into any issues, just email me. I'll help you out. You're not going to get stuck, and there's going to be support to assist you in this. If you do have any questions still and you're a new client, feel free to write those up in an email and send them to me. I'm going to be working on a forum or a Facebook group so that maybe you can get those answers faster than just emailing me. But again, there'll be more information on that in the future. I'm excited to work with you all. Remember to send me feedback. If there is anything that you would like to see in this program, don't be hesitant to ask. You're not going to offend anybody. We're excited to hear what people want so that we can work on developing that. In any case, it's time to get to work. I hope you get on those gains real soon. Blessings wherever you're at.